Of third from bottom in the table means that record is under serious threat. The fixture computer sent them to White Hart Lane to play Spurs today. Garth Crooks joined them.
They say, cometh the hour, cometh the man. The quiet Hertfordshire setting might suggest calm, but a storm is brewing for a team who are being asked to respond to that call. Coventry City, third from bottom before today's fixture, are facing an uphill battle to stay in the Premier League, a fact that was conspicuous by the clear absence of any hilarity during the players' morning stroll. The pre-match talk now over, the players sign autographs before they make their way to White Hart Lane and digest precisely what has been asked of them by their manager.
I think all you can ask of whatever team you've got is that they have a go, do the best, and if the fates are with them, if they're lucky enough, they'll come out on top. I mean, we've got 7 games, which it's still a fair part of the season. I mean, we've lost a few of our, what I call our get-out-of-jail cards, games that we would have expected to have won, but you might have to do it the hard way. You might have to beat Tottenham, Man U and Liverpool.
With 5 minutes to go before kick-off, Ron Atkinson looked confident that the £11.5 million he spent this season on 11 new players would produce the kind of performance that was worthy of the club's investment. It certainly started well for Coventry as they passed the ball with confidence, and on 21 minutes, a superb diagonal ball found skipper Dion Dublin in space to crash home his 16th goal of the season. Was it their day after all? 1-0 up, but Coventry were beginning to show signs of tension. Hardly surprising. By now, Coventry had already missed one golden opportunity to go 2 up, and skipper Dion Dublin was slowly turning from being hero to villain. Sadly, Coventry's defence began to collapse, and on 51 minutes, Teddy Sheringham helped himself to his 24th goal of the season. Within 60 seconds of the equaliser, Spurs went 2 up. Raoul Fox firing past Grizovic after Coventry failed to defend the free kick. Coventry's bench tells the rest of the story. The visitors now pushing forward were caught square by Chris Armstrong, while his pace took him into a perfect position to lay on Tottenham's third and Fox's second. 3-1 down, and Coventry were looking to rely on the inspirational figure of Gordon Strachan. He replaced the new hope, Owen Jess. But too little, too late. And with 1 win in 13 matches, it leaves them now second from bottom, and with major headaches, if they're to maintain their status of 29 years in the top flight.
Well, it's roll your sleeves up time. We can only do what we've been trying to do and hope that it'll turn for us. Fortunately, there are still teams around us, albeit it's, the last 3 defeats have tightened the thing right up. But we've still got a fighting chance. I mean, I know it's going to be very difficult, but we've just got to keep pegging and pegging and pegging, and hopefully, I mean, you've seen like the sort of run Bolton had, where all of a sudden they won 4 out the blue. We've got to try and achieve that.
I've never considered the pressing a panic button. We haven't got one of those, thank God, and we certainly won't be trying to find one. We've set our stall up by investing in the team, investing in the club and so on, and that is how we're going to work our way through. If at the end of the day we go down, we have to face that, but we've got to get back up again. But at least the club is in much better condition all the way through than it was 12 months ago, and certainly than it was 2 or 3 years ago.
The game now over, Coventry travel back to the Midlands, contemplating precisely where their next 3 points will come from. Saturday, they entertain Liverpool, and Monday, Manchester United, and all are in need of points for very different reasons.
Getting very tight indeed. Queen's Park Rangers' victory over Southampton has lifted them off the bottom. They go above Bolton and Coventry. Southampton remain 1 place. Scenario to those at St James's Park in Main Road. Relegation worries for one club. It was Coventry. Their top-flight long service record is under threat. Liverpool arrived with the title aspirations, but they realised all too well those championship hopes may not survive a setback. Coventry without the injured Richard Shaw and David Burrows, Ali Pickering and David Boost returned. Missing for Liverpool, first-choice defenders Neil Ruddock and Mark Wright, Steve Harkness and Dominic Matteo were called up. Tony Gubber is the commentator.
3 defeats in a row have plunged Coventry into deep relegation trouble. Just 1 point above the bottom club. Peter Jones of Loughborough, the referee today. Oh, that's a good run by Collymore, but he's just caught offside. Liverpool looking to spring a quick attack. Collymore just caught out by the linesman's flag. This is Jamie Redknapp. Don't think he really intended it for Fowler. McManaman. Collymore just offside again. They're tight decisions, and you get the feeling that eventually he will spring that back four. Scales. Here's Redknapp. Oh, Dublin's flick on was well intended, and it found Ungloved. Left foot cross, Whelan! Yes! What a great goal! What a superb strike by Coventry! From the moment when Dion Dublin got that flick header to put Ungloved free, there was always danger in that attack. It's a super cross, but doesn't Whelan do well to stretch the leg, almost telescopic. Fowler. Now again, Dublin looks for that little flicked header to Ungloved, and he's found him again. Oh, it's not a good clearance. Dublin! And there were all sorts of collywobbles then, and Dion Dublin with a superb chance to make it 2-0. And here's Richardson, and they've got Salako on now to give width on that left. Here's Salako, McAteer stuck with him, Harkness, here's Dublin. Oh, they didn't like the challenge. McAteer had tracked back with Salako. And then as Harkness came in, oh my goodness me. This is Scales, trying to dribble it out of his own half. He's got away with it. And finally lost possession, and now here's Williams. Well, McAteer in danger of losing his head. Well, he's maybe lucky that it's only a yellow card, because the kick at Williams seemed quite deliberate. It isn't pretty. Coventry don't mind where it goes. Thomas, here's David James, halfway upfield. Fowler! He's in on Nogrizovic. He saves it. Collymore. Fowler with really just one sniff of goal all afternoon. There was just the keeper to beat. McManaman. Here's McAteer. Dancing through the McAteer. And that's the final whistle. Ron Atkinson's Coventry have taken 3 priceless points. And the celebration knows no bounds.
We said before the game, we'd try and make it a high-energy game, because we know they've had 2 big games. I've got to be honest, they surprised me with how much commitment they'd still got in the locker.
And today, I don't think we've done ourselves justice, really. OK, didn't get a bounce of the ball from our point of view, didn't look like it was ever going to go in the back of the net. And you go from being the best striking force on a day where you can't even get a real great chance.
Everybody's talking about the championship and all win that. You know, how tight that's going to be. But the relegation battle will go to the last day of the season.
Now you've got 5 games left, but starting with Man United away on Monday.
Yeah. Most people thought we wouldn't get a point out of Easter. So we're in profit already, and, you know, we'll go there and give it a crack.
And there's the top 3. It's looking like a 2-horse race now. The news on Steve Harkness following the injury he suffered during the match. It's suspected the Liverpool defender has broken a leg. The Liverpool squad left Highfield Road very angry about John Solako's challenge. More news on Steve Harkness in the next couple of days. Gentlemen, what did you make of that challenge?
Well, I don't think Solako's a dirty player at all, but the pictures tell its own story. I mean, he's gone over the top of the ball there. He's possibly broken Harkness's leg. I think he should have had a red card myself.
Yeah, it was a shocking tackle. I think one that'll upset Solako when he actually sees it. Sometimes you can mistime those things, but it was a bad one, and I don't think he'd do that sort of thing deliberately, and he's had a serious injury himself as well. I would think he'll be upset tonight as well.
Thanks, gentlemen. The March Goal of the Month competition.
17 games, timing their run in brilliantly against Coventry, desperately trying to maintain their top division status. Roy Keane was missing for United, suspended. Brian McClare came in. David May and Gary Neville formed the centre-back pairing. John Solako started for Coventry with Borrows injured. The commentary from Tony Gubber.
Pickering will take the corner. The first test for United's defence. Flick on by Whelan, and it needed a super save. Twice by Schmeichel. And somebody's hurt. Maybe David Boost. Noel Whelan, who got the goal which beat Liverpool with the flicked header which forced a marvellous fingertip save, and it was Irwin who stood up strongly as Boost came in, but the Coventry man with the legs strapped together in deep distress, and that's an early blow for Coventry. Here's Richardson. That's for Whelan to chase, and he's got between the two central defenders. And he's in on Schmeichel. Still Whelan. Schmeichel has to make another save, and you begin to wonder how much the absence of both Bruce and Pallister may be an issue in this match. And Irwin has stayed forward, and he's got a lot of room now. Can he deliver a good ball? Well, two Coventry men went for it, they missed it. Giggs, Cantona. Back to Irwin. Beckham on the outside. It was almost an own goal by Williams. It might have been any one of half a dozen foreheads that made contact with that. Irwin just letting Beckham go on the overlap, drilled into the 6-yard box. Richardson. Cut out by David May. And here's Dennis Irwin. Now, but the game just beginning to open up at this stage. Cantona. Feeds Giggs into the 6-yard box. Nicky Butt had the touch, but it's only a goal kick. Well, Manchester United have lived dangerously in their own penalty area. Sweeping into attack, inevitably Cantona involved. A delicious ball in by Giggs. Butt with the redeflection, but it carried it wide to the far post. Here's Lee Sharp. Andy Cole. Gets the better of Williams. Here's Giggs. Grizovic beat it out. Cantona. Tries to release Cole, and he has. Here's Cole. Well, Cole is appealing for a corner, because he's claiming that Grizovic saved that. Superb ball by Cantona again. And hit with real venom by Cole. Lee Sharp into Giggs. Here's Butt. Here's Cantona. Was blocked by Daish. Out to Beckham. Here's Cole. Your heart goes out to him at times. Giggs. Hit the heels of Williams. Cantona! Yes! You felt it had to come eventually. Giggs twisting and turning Pickering. It hit the heels of Williams, and then somehow it found its way to Cantona. Dennis Irwin. Here's Cole, neat little flick to find Cantona. Giggs is on the left, but he switches it back instead to Andy Cole. Daisy's header has released Cole. Great save, Giggs off the post. A superb bit of football by Cantona. Giggs was the obvious outlet. He ignored him completely. Oh, Cole did well to take it off Pickering. Now Giggs. Just got Cantona ahead of him. Aims for Cantona. Well, it was a superb ball by Giggs. He looked to check where Cantona was, and for a player who was once criticised for his poor passing ability, Giggs now can put it on a plate. Here's Andy Cole, this is Brian McClair. Giggs has got lots of room on the left. Into McClair. Well, they're getting closer, but they haven't got the second goal yet that might wrap up the 3 points. Here's Liam Daish. Trying to find Dion Dublin. Here's Richardson, chesting it down. Coventry give Manchester United palpitations. Daish with the searching ball again. Dublin wins it, and Richardson could have hit it, trying to burst through Neville and Irwin.
Well, I thought the performance up until the last 20 minutes was absolutely first class in terms of football and chances created. But you know what we're like? We like to make everyone sweat, including the manager, you know?
People tend to get philosophical, and somebody just said, if you'd have drawn with Liverpool Saturday and drawn with Man United today, you'd have thought you'd have had a great weekend. And yet we'd have been worse off in a points situation. So I suppose we're thankful for what we've got. And as I said to you on Saturday, it'll still go to the last game of the season. There's been a little swing around again today. I'm pleased. I'm pleased with the fact that our lads have got pride and commitment and drive, and they're not giving up without a fight.
We knew it was going to be difficult. They're going to throw everything at us. You know, they're fighting for their lives. We're fighting for the championship, so we knew it was going to be difficult.
Yeah, 6 points clear. Newcastle have got 2 games in hand, but they've got to convert those games into points.
Yeah, well, we've been in both situations, and it's very difficult. I think that there's no ideal position to be in unless you're well ahead.
Can you tell us what the latest information is you have on David Boost?
Yeah, it's not good news. I mean, the boy, that's taken the edge off anything over the weekend, you know, and the boy's got a very, very bad fracture by the sound of it. Apparently, the Man United club doctor said our physio did a magnificent job at half-time with him, but, you know, it's another injury, and it's a bad one. But, you know, everybody's more concerned about the player tonight than, shall we say, other situations.
Very bad luck indeed for David Boost. Now, as far as Cantona is concerned, despite his problems of last season, at 1.2 million, he's got to be around about the best signing of all time, I would have thought.
An absolute snip. I mean, his performances have been magnificent. His conduct has been excellent. Long gone are the two-footed tackles that got him into trouble. He stands up now and just lets his performances do the talking for him. He's scored in the last 6 Premiership games for Manchester United, 4 goals being the winner. I mean, that speaks for itself. I think that the manager, Alex Ferguson, takes all the accolades in the world. Not only did he buy him, but he stood by him.
There was criticism about that,
well,
wasn't there,
yeah, and he's been proved right, but he stood by him through thick and thin.
Yeah.
And I think Eric Cantona has fully justified the faith that Alex Ferguson has shown him.
And today's goal was?
Well, one of the easier ones that he's liable to score, and he never looks like missing this. Giggs gets the ball wide in the left, crosses it into the box, it breaks for Eric, and he just takes his time and slots it away. And you can see the enthusiasm on his face there. But Coventry will be disappointed with this. They could have cleared it there. Comes up in the air. I think Richardson should head this. And again, when it falls to the man, there's no way he's going to miss this. Just takes a little bit of time and slots it purely home.
Even made a little bit of extra space for himself there with his
Such a class.
So absolutely no respite for Newcastle. Defeat for them.
QPR looked as if they were dead and buried in the First Division. They needed to win another 3, needed to get beaten, and that's exactly what's happened.
And this is how it looks this evening.
And you've got to give them a lot of credit, because now they've got a lifeline, they've got a chance. And both sides have got 2 away games. QPR play Coventry on Saturday at Coventry. What a game that's going to be.
Sure will. Well, it's 4 seasons since Leeds United won UEFA Cup place. Villa have already qualified for Europe, of course. And at the other end...
Road was quite obvious. The result wouldn't cast anything in stone, but Coventry and Queen's Park Rangers at 2nd and 3rd from bottom respectively, and on the same number of points, both knew it was a great opportunity to steal a march on relegation rivals. The commentary comes from Clive Tilsley.
Easter decided nothing. The game of musical chairs goes on at the bottom. When the music stops, neither Coventry City nor Queen's Park Rangers can afford to be standing where they are now, in the bottom 3. It's a day when experience will count, and Coventry have recalled Gordon Strachan. At 39, the second oldest player in the Premiership. The oldest, Ray Wilkins, 7 months his senior, has left himself out of the Queen's Park Rangers lineup. Simon Barker's return from suspension is the reason Wilkins steps down to the substitutes bench. Mark Haitley is preferred in attack to Danny Dicchio. Haitley's career started here at Coventry nearly 17 years ago. Strachan's first start for 2 months comes at the expense of Paul Telfer and John Solarco, both dropped. Marcus Hall and David Rennie return to the defence in the wake of the serious injury to David Boost last weekend. And the best wishes of everyone involved with Match of the Day go to David tonight, facing a year-long road to recovery. Referee is Keith Cooper. Queen's Park Rangers are the form team amongst the 5 relegation candidates. Coventry City, the out-of-form team. And with 4,000 travelling Rangers fans making their voices heard inside Highfield Road, there really is a rousing atmosphere. Rangers 1 defeat from their last 5 games, 8 points collected. Coventry 4 defeats from their last 5 games. The 3 points they took off Liverpool here last Saturday, their only return. Support arriving from Impey, and 2 to his left, Brevet and Sinclair, and if he hasn't seen them, maybe won't need them. Made by Richardson. Well, possibilities there down the left flank for Queen's Park Rangers. Here is Sinclair. Headed by Daish. Strachan. Rennie isn't the kindest of bouncers. That was a rather extravagant swipe at the ball. Onside Whelan from Strachan's header. First big chance of the game. Noel Whelan, good save by Jurgen Sommer. Stood up well, and Whelan couldn't make anything of the rebound. Goalkeeper has every right to be unhappy, so does Whelan. He was played onside by somebody in the right back position, but Jurgen Sommer refused to commit himself. Whelan, who got that all-important winning goal against Liverpool here last Saturday. Coventry trying to get on with it, but the ball was always moving. It was moving again when Unluck took it, got behind the referee's back. Haitley towards Gallen. Reddy's missed it. This is Kevin Gallen. He'll have to wait for support, unless he goes it alone. Oh, hit the crossbar! Well, the margins between success and failure are always fine in football. In a game as vital as this one, just how bad was Kevin Gallen's luck there? Some managers braced themselves early in the season for the possibility of a dice with a drop. For Ron Atkinson, this has come as a complete surprise. Sinclair. Free in support. Trevor Sinclair. It's a smart stop by Steve Grizovic. Sinclair, who has a free role in the Queen's Park Rangers team, licensed to pick the ball up wherever he feels he can do most damage, run at people and get in shots. Holloway's corner, Grizovic's take. The player-manager substitute warming up. Daesh. Doubling the target. Strachan trying to feed off him. Here's Gordon Strachan. Corner kick. He anticipated where Dublin was going to knock the ball down, but he was shepherded away from goal by the Queen's Park Rangers cover. This is Whelan, that's Dublin! Off the line! Vital clearance by Ian Holloway. Still Gordon Strachan. Yates made the challenge. Coventry have the corner. Ian Holloway was the Queen's Park Rangers hero. Sentry on guard duty to deny Coventry City. He's back at his station as Pickering prepares. Here comes Reddy again, cleared by Yates. Reddy was pushing. Queen's Park Rangers have some relief, some welcome and overdue relief. Joe Royal, who was involved in a relegation battle last season, happy to be watching from a safe distance today. David Bardsley. Now Kevin Gallen. In towards Haitley again, but Grizovic was alert and courageous. His handling was very sound too, in a very bare penalty area. Had a bit of pace about it. The ball whipped in by Gallen. Strachan to Dublin, and now Pickering. Away by Bardsley. Williams. McDonald's header this time. Well, both Ron Atkinson and Ray Wilkins have been involved in matches on bigger stages and in more illustrious company than the surroundings of the lower regions of the Premiership. But it's a difficult circumstance for the players, a difficult pitch, and neither have been able to make it easy on themselves by scoring. Owen Jess taking over from David Rennie at the start of the second half. Coventry City. Rennie has an ankle sprain, and Paul Williams has moved into the heart of the defence. Kevin Gallen, who came as close as anybody in the first half. Free kick has gone Coventry City's way this time. Marcus Hall will take. Oh, Summer spilled it. Whelan! Blocked by the goalkeeper, who managed to atone for his error. Owen Jess. Daesh! The first glimmer of a mistake from Jurgen Sommer. And what a costly one it almost was. He's been dealing with this kind of cross ball in a routine manner all day long, but he just got underneath of that one a little bit. And who should it fall to? Noel Whelan, who blasted a really well-controlled volley, but straight at Sommer. Whelan given away to Brevitt. Here's Haitley. Here's Holloway. Good challenge by Williams. Lovely control, and still from Unlove too. That's a breath of fresh air. Now, how far can Unlove go? He's got Strachan in support. Three waiting in the middle. Important clearance, Yates and Impey together. Revitt right is like. Queen's Park Rangers survive. All starting with a marvellous challenge by this man Williams inside his own territory. Whelan's header, Brevitt's clearance, Kevin Richardson. Dion Dublin can't make contact, Rufus Brevitt. Summer quickly into the path of Gallen. Holloway and Sinclair are up with him. Sinclair. Drawn three players in. Hooked into Gallen! Oh, he's hit the woodwork for the second time in the game. What has he got to do to score? He was all alone when the cross came in. But Brizovic was helpless. But Kevin Gallen, for the second time this afternoon, denied by the frame of the goal. Headed by McDonald, only as far as Unlove. Away from Bardsley, and then back into Bardsley. And then away by Bardsley. Throw by Hall. Touch from Dublin. There's Jess. Important challenge by Brevitt. McDonald to Sinclair. One back by Strachan. Cleared by Brevitt. Strachan again. Challenge for Jess. Good save by Summer. Owen Jess with the shot. Angle wasn't the best, but Jürgen Summer covered all the options. And the nearer to 4:45 we get, the higher the desperation level. Strachan's cross. Dublin waiting. There's Jess. Coventry in front. A lifeline goal from Owen Jess. His first for Coventry. Strachan and Dublin inevitably involved. Strachan picking out Dublin. And Jess supporting to score with a jackpot header. He only came on at half-time. He only came to the club in February. And Owen Jess, who escaped relegation by the skin of his teeth with Aberdeen in Scotland last season, has scored a goal which could make all the difference for Coventry City. Trevor Sinclair. Ian Holloway. It'll come through for Simon Barker. Into Kevin Gallen. He's offside. It won't count. Well, he's done everything but score. Probably a yard in it, but Gallen was offside. Ray Wilkins played 2 games in 3 days last weekend, but the time has come for him to return to the action, and it's Mark Haitley who is going to be replaced. I haven't always seen eye to eye since Wilkins brought Haitley down from Scotland. 39 years of age, plays 39 years of age. He's the young whippersnapper by 7 months. Well, it's still going. Impey's had a little kick at the Hall now. It was all handbags at 6 paces to begin with, and then it developed a little bit. Players themselves have sorted it out, but Keith Cooper would like a word. Silly boys. Oh, well, and the Impey's asking for it. Yellow for Marcus Hall. red for Andy Impey. Well, he hasn't got a defence. Clip forward towards Gallen. He shrugged off Daesh, and he had Ray Wilkins up in support with him. He's entitled to fancy his chances today, though. Kevin Gallen, his luck has surely got to change sometime. Here's Jess, the scorer of the game's only goal so far. Into Whelan. Oh! Well, he could have eased one or two anxieties by tucking that one away. Jess, the goal scorer, turned goal provider, it seemed. It was a very deliberate effort with the outside of his foot, but it was just wide. Barker has found Gallen, who has found some daylight. Only Sinclair ahead of him. This is Trevor Sinclair. Tackled by Paul Williams. It'll be a corner kick to Queen's Park Rangers. How are your nerves? Jurgen Sommer is in the box. Ray Wilkins takes. Sommer is there, just beaten to it by Whelan, on by Barker. Richardson with a header. Holloway tries the volley. Almost reached Sommer again. Hall was in the way. Wilkins, still the goalkeeper's up. Now Trevor Sinclair. Wilkins cross again. Sommer's won it in the air. Gallen. Sommer trying the overhead. Dublin's there. Unlov's there. And the ball is away. And Queen's Park Rangers have no goalkeeper at home. Noel Whelan against Rufus Previtt, who's won the ball. That's it. Well, Ron Atkinson has won some big games down the years. Cup finals at Wembley and the like. But this is as valuable a victory as he's enjoyed for some time, thanks to his £2 million investment in Owen Jess. Everybody knew the repercussions for the losers today. Kevin Gallen so unlucky to be a loser. Queen's Park Rangers have only 2 more games in which to try to repair the damage done. In the sink-or swim world at the deep end of the Premiership, Coventry City have managed to keep their heads above water today with a 1-0 win. What was your approach to such an important game? What did you want your players to do?
Well, the obvious thing is you've got to play with spirit, you've got to play with drive, commitment and compete. And you knew full well QPR were going to do that as well.
I don't think our performance was up to what we've been playing in the last couple of weeks. But I think that probably the surface had a little bit to do with that. We've been playing some good football. Unfortunately, we had to adapt a little bit as far as playing football was concerned because we couldn't get the ball on the floor. Therefore, it upset the rhythm slightly, but we can't take anything away from Coventry. They kept battling away.
Ian, you've scored goals for club and country. Is that the most important goal you've scored yet?
I think so. I mean, under the circumstances, I think, and it's just a delight to get the 3 points, and we've got a game on Wednesday at Notts Forest, and hopefully we can continue with winning.
I've not been really used to these type of games, and it does take out you physically and mentally. And I was enjoying the build-up until I found out that I was going to play. Then suddenly some more pressure was heaped upon me, and it becomes less and less enjoyable, the game. I think it's a game that you just want the game to be played as quick as possible, get out the way, find out the result, and if you win, you're very happy.
Still got plenty to do. I mean, you look at, I mean, everybody says 33 points, 35 points, 36 points. After today's, you know, it could go higher again.
But we have to win 2 football matches, and that's the be-all and end-all.
Could have gone either way, couldn't it? And Rangers will look back and say, we did have chances.
Yeah, it was a game sort of niggly, wasn't it, and scrappy, riddled with tension. But I think they were going into the match with some good form, and I thought they might win today, and they did have chances. I suppose it all revolved a bit around Kevin Gallen because you know, those openings that did arrive for them came his way. Here, you know, 1 against 1 almost, you know, goes outside really on his left foot, beats the keeper, hits the woodwork, and again on Trevor Sinclair's cross here. Acres of space for him. I think he should have tucked this away. Unlucky to come back off the angle, but a free header from there should be in. And then, of course, you've got the offside. You know, those other 2 goals, of course, at this stage now they're 1-0 down, and he is just, what, a yard off, and then he hits it instinctively. The defenders go in, still not knowing they've got the offside decision. And then, of course, at the end here, does well to break away, but look at Ray Wilkins, just knock it square. even more so when you see what happened afterwards. But he's had that sort of season where he hasn't been tucking the chances away, been out of the side on a couple of spells when his form hasn't been great. So frustrating time, and their inability to score sufficient goals, I think, is going to cost them.
Not a day for the youngster, but for the more experienced player, let's say, Gordon Strachan. I don't know what he drinks, but I want some.
Yeah, well, it's too late for me, but I mean, whatever it is, he scurries around. It's his enthusiasm more than anything. You know, I think to put an old head like him there, you think, well, is he going to be sort of a slow pace? But look at that awareness. I mean, Barnsley plays wheeling on, and you can see Barnsley coming across them, but Summer does well to stand up, and that saves an opportunity. But, you know, he's scurrying around, supporting all the time, and even when these loose balls come out on the edge of the penalty area, doesn't commit himself, wins the first one, stands up again, and look at the time now, doesn't give it early, just waits, lays it up for Jess, and a good save again by Summer. Of course, you're waiting for the deadlock to be broken, and this is the goal. Lovely weighted pass along the line to Whelan. He hasn't got to worry about controlling it. And again, who's there supporting him? And he picks out Dublin, who's pulled very well beyond the far post, and just gets across Impey and Barker. And what a time to score your first goal. An absolute vital victory. I mean, Ray Wilkins mentioned 2 victories. 36 points, they could stay up, but I think it's a tall order now.
Do you think Ray Wilkins should have put himself in the starting lineup?
I do. I mean, you know, 39 years of age, the same as Gordon Strachan. I think if he hadn't been the manager, somebody else could have taken that particular decision out away from him. He played in the last 2 games extremely well. He could have slowed it down, a bit more creative going forward.
It just means they leapfrog above them, but remain in the relegation zone because of those victories for Southampton and Manchester City. 5 points now separated the bottom 5. Trevor, can Bolton and Queen's Park Rangers survive?
Well, I think Bolton could only get to 35. I don't think that would be enough with just 2 matches remaining. QPR could get to 36, and their goal difference is better than the rest, but I think that would be too much for them. So I think 1 from the other 3, with Manchester City only 2 left, away to Aston Villa and home to Liverpool. I think they're the most vulnerable of Southampton, Coventry and City.
Trevor, thanks a lot.
Great escapes and wonders if they can do it again in tonight's Inside Sport.
The year is 1967. Caftans and flowers abounded. The Beatles were busy with Sgt. Pepper, and the motor industry made Coventry a prosperous boom city. It was the year the local football side joined the big time too.
We'll fight till the day is done.
29 years on, the Sky Blues are still there. They've had more great escapes, though, than Steve McQueen. The current joke goes something like this: if the Titanic had been painted sky blue, it wouldn't have gone down. They've had some perilous moments, though. In 1977, they faced Bristol City in a final relegation skirmish. The kick-off was delayed, and news of Sunderland's defeat at Everton was flashed onto the scoreboard by Jimmy Hill. The 2 sides played out a tame draw.
It was crowd congestion. That was the reason the game was delayed. Nothing to do with the other scores elsewhere. Yeah, the kick-off was delayed, so they knew the important result elsewhere, and in the end, with Bristol City, they played out and were both safe.
In 1985, another Houdini act. The Sky Blues needed to win their last 3 games. They did it, thrashing the champions Everton 4-1 on a hot last day of the season. But the Everton performance left a lot to be desired.
I think they've been away, I think they've been celebrating, and we were really up for the game. The fans were up for the game. I remember the atmosphere that day. And, I mean, we didn't just win, we annihilated them 4-1. So, I mean, I hope we don't take it to the last game of the season this year, but whatever it takes, we'll settle for.
There's been no shortage of cash this season. Ron Atkinson's brought players in thick and fast at an average of £1 million a month, but they're still in trouble.
I'm amazed we're in this position, but we are in it. I think if we got through it, and I'm pretty sure we will get through it, but if we got through it, I think we'd have a decent year next year.
This year, I think it's slightly different because people have seen it in the past. We'll always be safe, we'll always get out of trouble. But this year, £13.5 million spent, what should be a good team, what should be a successful management team, yet they're still down there. And I think a few people think this could be the year where the luck runs out because everything is geared up for success, yet it's still wanting.
The sense of relief that swept round Highfield Road when Ian Jess scored Saturday's winner against QPR was almost tangible, but the Sky Blues are still very much in danger. The club's most successful management duo, John Sillett and George Curtis, led them to their solitary FA Cup triumph in 1987. These days, they keep their competitive instincts for the golf course. They believe the Sky Blues will survive again.
We've kept up there. We're always just, at times, getting those big nostrils above water, and I think they'll do it again.
They've been playing some good football. You know, they've been playing, and it's just the odd occasion where they let these silly goals away. And what they've got to realise is where they've lost against Bolton, Southampton, those are the really... You expect perhaps to lose against Manchester United or Liverpool, but you don't. If you're going to be a good team, you've got to beat your Southamptons, you've got to beat your Queen's Park Rangers, and you've got to beat the teams at the bottom.
This afternoon, some of the 4,000 die-hard Coventry City fans started leaving for the City ground for tonight's match. Most only to use...
Away to Nottingham Forest, Scott Gemmell returned to a Forest side, showing only one change from Saturday's 5-1 thrashing by Blackburn. Coventry kept the side which finished the 1-0 win over QPR. And watching this one, Tony Gubber.
And here's Stuart Pearce. Forrest still carrying the more threat. Lee. That's Undlove defending. It's a corner. Pearce with the corner. Here's Wone. Oh, great save. Pearce whipping in the corner, and there's nobody there to challenge Ian Wone, and it's a fine save by Grizovic. Here's Campbell. And this is Solarco to bring it out, and here's Noel Whelan, and Coventry have got 2-on-2. Here's Whelan. This is Coventry's best attack. He's Undlove. Dublin. They've waited the whole of the first half to create anything like a decent chance, and that was it. Whelan leading the charge out. There was real pace. They always had Forrest backpedaling. He cut out Dublin to Undlove, who, well, headed it somewhere in the end, round about his shins or his ankles. Bart Williams into Stone. Here's Wone, and that's for Jason Lee wide. Now they've got Daesh out of the middle. Here's Ian Wone. But he knows how good a chance that was. It was put right on his forehead by Jason Lee. Here's Solarco. Bart Williams. Williams' header only found Howe. Stone wants to get involved. Here's Stone. Here's Lee. It was thumped right into the chest of Grizovic. Again, Nottingham Forest carrying the threat, but in the end not delivering. Whelan just set himself to resist the challenge of Chettle. Solarco gets away from Chettle. Jess! Well, Crossley had to be very sharp. The touch from Jess just carried half a yard further than he would have wanted. Now a lot of room for Howe. Jason Lee, back to Howe. And Coventry are struggling to get back here. He did the wrong thing. There were three arriving on the edge of the penalty area. Here's Undlove. Dion Dublin. Kevin Richardson. Here's Whelan. Right-footed, hit the woodwork. Solarco chipped up. And this is Marcus Hall. Dublin is back to goal and Chettle in attendance. Solarco. Here's Jess. Solarco. Well struck. Crossley couldn't hold it, he just had to punch it clear. And suddenly Coventry carving out chances. Here's Gemmell. Here's Howe trying to make himself room. Lee. Surely now Lee. And Grizovic has saved it. Super save by the keeper. Stone. And Pickering heads it down for Grizovic to claim. Well, if Coventry get anything out of this match, and it's beginning to look like it might be just a point, as a man, they ought to congratulate Steve Grizovic. Salako. Two ahead of him. He's got rid of one. Right foot cross. Dublin. Oh! Again, Crossley saved. It was a super header from Dion Dublin. And suddenly, Crossley is the busier of the keepers. Salako. It's a crowded penalty area, and there was a real tussle. Daish running back with the expression which suggests that it was his forehead which had the last contact with that.
How psychologically important is it for you to now be out of the bottom three?
In an ideal world, what we want to be is in a position where in the last game of the season, if we all get the same result, that we're not the one that gets the fall. Now, you know, I think it'll be so very, very tight that it may even be that tonight. There's an awful lot more. Everybody's got 2 hard games to go now, and you know, Bolton will look at the results tonight and they'll see they've got one last throw of the dice. You know, so it's hard to say. I mean, all I do know is, ideally, we'd like to be going into the last game with some sort of an advantage over 3 others.
Yeah, masters of your own destiny.
Yeah.
We've got an important point tonight. Well, goals from tonight's other Premiership matches coming right up, but let's begin the roundup with Sunday's game between Newcastle and Aston Villa.
The week began on Tyneside.
And only on goal difference. And just to remind you, there's no change at the top. Manchester United still lead Newcastle by 3 points. Newcastle
division was under threat. They were away at Wimbledon today. The Dons needed a point to be mathematically safe. They were unchanged. Big problems for Coventry in defence, but that's been the story of their season. Injuries and suspensions meant striker Dion Dublin was a stand-in centre-half. Clive Tilsley is the commentator.
Salako again. Well struck. Goal kick. John Salako back on familiar ground. Joined Coventry City from Crystal Palace, with whom he has been relegated twice in the last 3 seasons. Burrows got up very early and was hanging about on the back of Andy Clark. Jones leaving it for the left-footed Kimball. Towards a Cuckoo! Well, he beat Grizovic to the punch, and his header just squirted over the crossbar. Goalkeeper committed, had to be to the ball first and wasn't. Telford to Salako. Pickering going forward. Here's Whelan. Seen off by Perry. It's a really good contest by 2 outstanding young players. Salako will take the throw. This is Telfer. Salako. Whelan! Oh, off the post from Unlove! Sullivan never moved. Peter Unlove hit the inside of the post. Marcus Hall. That's another good cross. There's Salako! And that hits the crossbar. Twice in a matter of moments, Coventry City denied by the frame of the goal. Unlove had the clear opportunity, sneaking in front of Cunningham. But when the ball came back from the left-hand side, it was John Salako who got in the header, which bounced down and up and against the bar and away to safety.
Salako. Hall. Telfer. Whelan. Here's Pickering. Into it, Love, yes! It's the type of goal that Coventry City have always threatened to score. A beautifully constructed goal. Unfortunately, it's been followed by a pitch invasion, about which the club may well be hearing more. But it is such an important goal. Scored by Peter Unlove after his side had strung together half a dozen passes and truly created the chance. Unlove's first goal for nearly 5 months. It was a boisterous invasion. Gordon Strachan has come over now to try to make sure it doesn't happen again. On by Holsworth. Dublin has got Clark sneaking up behind him. And that's over. Best chance Wimbledon have had so far. Dion Dublin, who has adapted to his new role superbly this afternoon, caught out for once. Jones. Goodman. Kimball. Kimball doing the fair Jones impression with the header, with the throw-in. Arthur with the header down to Jones. Good save. Here's a Koku. And Agrizovic is able to grab the ball. An important stop. Diving away to his left. It was at a nice height for the goalkeeper, but it was well struck by Vinnie Jones. Burrows to Jess. Oh, it's a good pass too for Unlove. Kimball is the defender. It's Peter Unlove. It's 2-0. Peter Unlove's second goal has put Coventry City within sight of their survival target. Salako. Salako cuts back inside. Trying to finish it off himself. The final whistle blows. And Coventry City's second away victory of the season, long overdue, but as welcome as any in the club's recent history.
So Ron Atkinson's side. Who would have backed Manchester City, Coventry and Southampton to all win? 1 victory in 6 means the alarm bells are ringing for Sheffield Wednesday. 4 clubs live to fight the final day. It's the end of the line for Bolton and Queen's Park Rangers.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me to see the 3 teams involved, Southampton, Man City and ourselves, winning the last 2 games. And I said that's why it was important we got a result at Forest.
Do you feel as though you deserve to win today?
Very much so. I mean, we had our moment. I mean, Wimbledon, as they do, they pressurised us, put us under the cosh a little bit. We had to defend that, particularly without some of our recognised central defenders. The boys that played there did smashing.
And he had to show commitment and enthusiasm.
I think it speaks volumes for the players. You know, he's had a terrific season at centre forward. Big Ron asked him to play at centre back in a crucial game like this. You know, 99 times out of 100, you wouldn't want to play in that position. Having said that, he did play in the easier. They played 3 centre backs. He played in the easiest position of the 3 in the middle, but he played terrifically well again.
That is character, isn't it? Because you must be thinking, if I go back and play a different position, and then suddenly you have a night.
It's like asking me to play centre forward.
And you suddenly have a nightmare or something.
Well, this is it. I mean, you could have given away a goal that cost you, you know, Premiership status, and I say it speaks volumes for the players that he was wanting to play there.
No doubt, who's the star of the show for Coventry, though?
Well, Unlove, the man. He scored 2 goals. He could have 4. This is the first chance. Whelan does well. He gets it to the byline. He plays it back. Little bit of bubble there, and he puts it over the top. And you might have thought at that time it's not going to be my day. Then a Salako cross comes in. Good header, a little bit unlucky to come off the post. Probably should have scored there. And again, he's thinking, well, I'm not going to score on this occasion. But what he does well, we circle him here. He's one side of Kimball. When Pickering plays it into the box, he gambles in the space. He gets to the other side, and he just blasts a shot home, and that's 1-0 up. And then he scores the second goal, the vital second goal. Ball through the middle. He's a little bit lucky here. It breaks off Kimball, gets a good bounce, but the finish is good. And it's all to play for. And really, you know, when you consider how many goals that Coventry have lost this season, the last 5 goals they've only lost 1. What a turnaround that is.
When Queen's Park Rangers reflect on their relegation...
To get them in this position, again, the Coventry defence, 1 goal lost in the last 5 games, tremendous. Manchester City 7 points from 5 games, and they have at the bottom Sheffield Wednesday 4 points, and that's why they're in trouble. And they've lost 8 of their last 9 away games, and they go to West Ham next week. Big problems. We don't want to play any of them, but I mean Manchester City play Liverpool, and Liverpool won't do them any favours, but they'll have one eye in the cup final. Manchester City, as I said, fighting for their lives. Same with Southampton and Coventry. Any one of the 4 could go down.
It's not going to be a day for the Saints.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, obviously Manchester City look and say they've got the hardest game against Liverpool.
8th minute, Coventry found themselves living on the edge. Leeds striker Phil Masinga threatened to put the away side ahead. Steve Ogrizovic left to deny them.
The shifting sands under Sheffield Wednesday's feet led to some nervy defending at Upton Park, and the first real chance for West Ham fell to Ian Dowie. Kevin Pressman beat it away. But it was to be an afternoon of do-it-yourself manicures for David Pleat and Richie Barker.
Leeds may have been ravaged by injuries, but there was nothing wrong with their commitment. On 20 minutes, Lukic failed to hold the cross, but his defence were resolute, Weatherall finally clearing the danger.
By this time, Southampton had steadied themselves against Wimbledon. Neil Shipperley broke forward and forced a great save from Neil Sullivan. 25 minutes had been played.
If Wednesday were to be their own salvation, Reggie Blinker was always the man most likely. West Ham eventually stopped him dribbling past the whole defence, but only at the cost of a free kick. This was the closest Wednesday had come so far. Mark Pembridge struck the kick well. Ludek McCloskey saw it coming. At half-time, the drums were talking. But what was the message? Was there an ambush up ahead?
2 minutes into the second half, Noel Whelan was presented with the perfect opportunity to score against his old club and take a significant amount of tension out of the match. Sadly for Coventry, he did neither.
And at the Dell, jittery Southampton still couldn't make the right connections. Richard Hall couldn't make contact.
West Ham began their second half in a mood that can only have added to Wednesday's apprehensions. It was an early test for Kevin Pressman, provided by Michael Hughes. But still 0-0.
At this stage in the proceedings, Coventry were becoming more and more anxious. With no idea of the other scores, Whelan could have made what was going on elsewhere purely academic. Were they beginning to feel the pressure? Time ticking away, Coventry's heart must have missed a beat. In fact, it may have even stopped, as Redeby's header bounced agonisingly past the post.
The first defence to succumb was Sheffield Wednesday's. Julian Dick's header from Michael Hughes' free kick. Wednesday 1 down, 19 minutes left.
Southampton fans became twitchy as the season started to draw to a close. They knew what a late addition to the goals against column might mean. How many Saints held their breath as Efan Akuku charged forward, only to blast wide? It was in injury time that Southampton got a clear sight of sanctuary. Letitia crossed, Jim Magilton guided it goalwards, a great save from Neil Sullivan. Would a goalless draw be enough?
With only seconds remaining at Upton Park and ears tuned elsewhere, Sheffield Wednesday gathered themselves for one last charge. It developed down the right. Guy Whittingham crossed. John Newsom's head made contact. Wednesday had begun the game knowing that a point would equal survival. No need.
Stick or bust, because we knew the results of the other matches. I thought for a long period of the game, we were on top of the game. You know, if we could have scored, I mean, Noel Whelan was very unfortunate to score at least once. I mean, Lukic made a fabulous save, another couple of attempts. But after that, you're in that position where you don't know whether to charge forward and try and nick it, us hang on a bit. We know at this moment in time we're in the Premiership.
When you're at Palace, of course, you experienced relegation on the final day of the season. I mean, what's the difference now, having survived on the final day?
Well, I mean, it's tremendous. I mean, obviously, I mean, really, I think I'm still going to start growing grey hairs or something, you know, struggling 2 years in a row. And I think if we'd have gone down again this year, I think it was a stigma that would have stuck with me for the rest of my life. So I suppose for myself and Richard Shaw, we're very relieved.
During the match, were you aware of what was happening in the other games that were concerning the relegation spots?
No, you know, I didn't really want to know. I just thought if we do what...
Years, long-time leaders Newcastle are runners-up, their best position since 1927. They qualify for the UEFA Cup, along with Coca-Cola Cup winners Aston Villa and Arsenal, who finished 5th. Third place Liverpool will play in the Cup Winners' Cup next season, incidentally, regardless of the result in the FA Cup final. That's, of course, because Manchester United are back in the European Cup. And at the other end, Manchester City are relegated. Next season, they'll join QPR and Bolton in Division 1. Southampton, Coventry and Sheffield Wednesday all survived. Just.
Attacking, attractive football, great to watch.